Consider supporting Sonic Guru Productions on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. Anyway, speaking of still being Sonic, let's move on to the movie. Okay.
Put it this way, as of recording of this time of this year, we know more about the plot, casting, production crew, and even the filming dates of the Sonic movie than anything about what the hell Illumination and Nintendo were going to do with the Mario movie.
I forgot they were doing that. I completely forgot. I read it was like, oh, the Illumination, you know, the people who made minigames, because that's a great fucking idea, isn't it?
Well, basically, that's the one thing they decided, you know what, we could bank all our money on this for the rest of our career and we'll be good.
Yeah, but as far as the Sonic movie, let's go down the list.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm just going by what I've heard, and I'll go into the other ones. We have the title, we have the
who's making
it, and some of the casting. Originally, it would be Paul Rudd for a character called Tom, but now it's someone else. Then we have Jim Carrey negotiating to play the role of Robotnik in the movie, which honestly is like, I love Jim Carrey, I just don't see him.
Well, put it this way, it's not the first time somebody named Jim's played Robotnik and then people ended up loving him for that.
Yeah, but this is what, if it's going to be its own thing, fair enough. But
I know.
In your head, you have an idea what Eggman is.
Yeah.
I don't know why in TSSZ is calling it Robotnik. But if it's going to be Robotnik in the movie, because it's an American audience, you got to make it the American things. It's like it's been Eggman since 1998.
Well, to be fair, potato tomato, let's cut the whole thing off. I mean, same guy to me, pretty much, regardless of names, the same bloke. I will say, actually, I was at Sonic the Comic an event. Probably have to do an episode on that one day. But we did talk about this, actually, to somebody. I was talking to a fellow attendee, and we did talk about the idea of, well, if they're going to make a Sonic movie, are they going to have the cast as in what we have in the game as the characters, or are we going to go for basically stunt casting, which is like, who's popular can we get in to play this character? And now they're doing with this, it's now questioning, okay, so if Eggman is going to be somebody else, okay, who the hell Sonic's going to be? Because if it ain't Roger Craig Smith, that's going to be one hell of a surprise when we figure out who it is.
Jaleel White, why not? He's still an actor.
In an absolute... To be fair, my view of this whole Sonic thing is basically, at its best, this is probably going to be nearer to, say, Transformers. Then that's the best it could be. The worst it could be is like Peter Rabbit, which, God help us all, that's nothing we don't want that train wreck to happen. But again, when I say Transformers, that's the kind of aspect we want to, the same sort of publicity, the same sort of interest and hype towards it. Whether it's good, different story. But if they're going another Transformer, as in, let's get somebody people have known and liked for years, and if he can work for the character for this version, why not? Work for Peter Cullen, who's to say Jaleel White, and now you mentioned it, Dan. May happen. Who knows?
Yeah, but which one was Peter Cullen again? Was he Optimus?
Yeah, he's Prime.
Okay, I got it. I wrote right in my head. I was thinking, I'm not too sure that's the actual guy, but they got Peter Cullen as Prime, but they replaced Frank Welker with Hugo Weaving. But they got Frank back for fucking Soundwave.
Well, that's the thing is, Frank was auditioned for the first movie, but he didn't get it. But he got the role to do Soundwave in movie 2, and then again in 3, and now since movie 4 and 5, he's basically been Megatron.
He is Megatron, auditioned to play Megatron, but failed to be Megatron.
Yeah, but he got there in the end, so it's a long way around. But hey, he got there.
I forgot where I was going now.
Voicing.
As the casting goes. Yeah. It's also been, I guess, revealed that Tails and Knuckles are going to be in the film as well.
Yeah. As we're speaking, we got this somewhat hot off the press from TSSZ, is apparently there is a sheet basically sort of telling us basic information of when they're filming this, what they need, and even the synopsis of the movie.
Yeah, the logo I think is pretty good. The actual logo they showed at the Paramount press screening once he just showed a very standard logo, and people saying, "Is that the logo for the movie? You're fucking lazy." It's like, okay, first of all, have you ever heard of the term placeholder? Happens a lot. Two, if it is the original, going to be using the original logo, what the fuck's the problem?
Well, to be fair, that same conference where they announced it, they also showed off that they're saying we're making another 10-minute movie. I think they just used the one for the last movie, so again, placeholder.
Yeah. I want to get around to something about Sonic's character. How actually described later, but I'm going to read out the proposed notice of filming.
Yeah, but also to mention quickly about the logo on the paper. I mean, again, it's something like, if you ever seen film crews on sets, often they have like jackets or whatever, and it's like they have a logo that's the production to use or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes it end up in the movie, but it's something, again, it may end up in the final film, in the final advertisement, who knows.
A logo, I think, is pretty good. It's basically just this normal Sonic font, italicized a little bit, a little drop shadow, but it has Sonic's quills inside the C.
In the C, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's like they did the same. The only other game I think they did it in was Sonic Heroes, where the O had Sonic's head in it.
Yeah, had the basically the Team Sonic's, was basically the symbol of Sonic's head.
Yeah, proposed notice of filming. Please let anyone to read this proposed notice of filming. Hedgehog Films Incorporated. Hedgehog Films Incorporated.
Now, he said earlier, now, it may sound silly, but actually a lot of movies do this. In fact, I was just the other day, I was watching the ending credits of Kubo and the Two Strings. At the very end, it says basically Two Strings Films Limited. So,
yeah. Hedgehog Films is interested in filming scenes for family feature film entitled Sonic for Paramount Pictures from August 7th through the 10th.
So they are doing it pretty much for most of the summer. Crew
preparations, production crews, filming scenes, interior dialogue, and packing up. There will be no gunfire or special effects. However, atmospheric smoke may be used. So, is this going to be a destruction scene where Eggman could turn up?
Probably, yeah. I mean, normally when they do this could be anything where the smoke's there to insinuate something that's fallen over or a character to run through something. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, it'll be... It's in the process of filming now. It's just the...
Well, basically, the scene of this sheet is it's more or less just confirming what we know at the minute. You know, the fact is, again, it's coming out. The people that are making it have been confirmed. It's under Paramount, along with Sega's own animation corporation. Even Blur's involved somehow, which again, Tim Miller.
Yeah.
So pretty much everything about this is saying it's happening. All the people are right. Blah blah blah. It's on this film, and also they kind of codenamed it Casino Night, which I'm guessing is, again, they do this in movies where they try to not say the movie's name, but just give it a different thing. So calling Casino Night means other film industries don't know what it actually means, but if you're a Sonic fan, it's like, dude, it's a dead herring.
Yeah, like Star Wars was Blue Harvest.
Or Jedi, yeah.
Doctor Who was Torchwood, because it's basically an anagram until they actually made Torchwood. So what the fuck?
Decided to use that name for a spin-off.
And also in games as well, like Mario Odyssey, its project name was Red Star. Every Mario game, Digital Gaming just basically brought up saying every Mario game has Red something in the project names. So it'll be interesting. Now the part I'm gonna fucking rant about is basically how to describe Sonic's character, and basically they called him a juvenile delinquent. It is two words that do not mean Sonic. It's those two fucking words for his character. He looked at one scene like, oh, what does he do? It just kind of jumps in and does whatever. Oh, so he's kind of a juvenile delinquent. Then it's like, no, he's not that.
It depends how you do it, but if you take that by its literal meaning, I don't know, again.
A juvenile delinquent to me is basically someone who wears hoodies and actually spray paints a private property.
Well, to us British men, that's what it means, but to everywhere else...
Yeah, it's a fucking chav.
Yeah. That's what it is. So your argument is basically they're asserting that Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be a chav.
Pretty much, you want to be the British type, yeah. But a juvenile delinquent, it sounds like someone who looks for trouble, who wants to make trouble. And it's like, that Sonic isn't that. He isn't. He may be a bit boneheaded, he may jump into stuff without thinking, but he does it heroically, and he has fun with it. Using
that
as a basis for a character in a film is misrepresentation.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the thing, actually, because in terms of what we know of the movie premise, plot, whatever you want to call it, I mean, again, I'm not going to do a full analysis, but what we know of it is basically that supposedly Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, apparently, if they're in this, are going to be in some world, and they're going to meet up with some cop who is a small-time family man, and of course they're going to have, ongoing, they're going to have meeting up with
we need the human relations to actually get into the movie to project ourselves. We don't fucking need that. It did not work with Transformers. It did not work with Sonic X. Stop trying to make archetypes for us to relate to. It's a bullshit move when you're actually using an actual intellectual property.
Yeah,
Stop
well, that's the thing.
Doing it.
I know. I mean, obviously, even the question at this point is that we're still not sure. Is this set in their world, or is it going to be like they're in our world and they've ended up here by accident or something? Again, we don't know until they've shown us a trailer or whatever.
So basically, just ripping off Sonic X. Okay, fair enough.
Well, I was going to say that other Smurfs, which had the same bloody problem, which, again, we don't want this to end up like the bloody Smurfs.
We don't want to be the fucking Smurfs.
No, we definitely don't want the scene where they're playing Guitar Hero, because A, that's outdated, and also that's just not funny.
Or the Three Stooges when they break Jersey Shore. Like, congratulations on making a bit outdating your show based on an actual popular trio of slapstick comedy actors and writers.
Yeah, well, hey. Those are the idiots of Hollywood that do that, but what do we know?
Apparently,
but anyway, I mean, as you said, the whole juvenile delinquent. I mean, for me, Sonic the Hedgehog has always been, for me, the character has been more like a cocky smartass in some ways, because again, you look at him through the various different iterations, either through comics and TVs. The way they play Sonic, like in TV shows wise, they've always played him as playing up his ego and a lot of like playing around with people in front of him, either it be enemies or just a bunch of idiots. And then in particularly in the UK comic, most people said he acted like a dick. Essentially, he was this sort of slightly smug, patronizing to a lot of his friends.
That's the closest to a juvenile delinquent. But then again, Sonic used that kind of dickishness. It's like just was a devil-may-care kind of attitude.
Yeah, because again, the idea before is
he does care, but doesn't want to seem to be, mushy.
Well, that's what I'm thinking of this movie. Is basically, if they're going for this juvenile delinquent, if they're going to do something like, say, Spider-Man, for instance, because think about it, Peter Parker, guy, loser, not very confident, whatever, but as Spider-Man, he acts like a very overconfident, cocky, jokey type of character because it's a front to who he really is. And you think about it, if they're going with this Sonic movie, what they'll probably have is, and they may have a scene later on after like 20 minutes or whatever, there'll be a huge fallout with the cop character saying you don't care, or you just act like you don't care, you just have responsibility.
I'm not expecting to go, fuck you, Tom.
Yeah. No, but you get the idea. He's going to act like, you just go into these head first, have no responsibility, whatever, and maybe somebody will just finally say, you know what, this is all, I just do this. I just go out there in the world and just do whatever I want. Doesn't mean I don't care. It could be, again, maybe part of the plot is basically something ends up with this character. There's a whole thing where maybe he's helping him out with small-time crime in the town. And then later on, he reveals the reason why he acts like this is because it's a front, because he's basically got his friends in trouble. They may be locked up by the government or Eggman. So he does this as a show because he doesn't want to really let people get in trouble or really get too close to him. As a thing, because again, the character is free will spirits and whatever and all that stuff.
Yeah, but that's probably out as closest to that's probably the actual closest to an actual decent plot we're going to get from the movie anyway.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, if that is what they're going to go for, that is not a bad angle to go for, having a character, someone who is of authority and of a family versus someone who is, as you said, always going with the wind, basically, always moving from one town to another, and whatever happens, he goes in, does it, and just goes off.
Yeah, but we don't need Tom to actually tell us that. Even now, we need to see it through his actions. Again, we don't need...
I mean, again, depending on how they're going to do...
I keep going back to having relatable human archetypes, just as it's been a blank slate for us to project onto. So we don't need that. The reason why people love Transformers is because of the actual Transformers themselves, not because of the Wiki family. And again, with Sonic, we're not caring for the human characters. We're caring for the Sonic characters.
Yeah. But like I said, it all depends on how they do this at the end of the day. I mean, I think the best example is if you look at the Paddington films. Now, the Paddington movies aren't that really special if you just describe them. It's basically Bear who lived with a family. One of them passed away. He ends up with a British family. He's kind of a goofball. He ends up messing up, and they all drive him crazy. But then they all come together. And there's a bigger misunderstanding, and there's some sort of villainess who wants to use him for her own game. And just saying that, it feels like that could be any movie. That's any stupid CGI kids movie with an animal thing. But because of the way Paddington was done, the way it was structured, the way it was presented, it made it feel like it was something completely different. Again, it isn't. Given to anybody else, it just would have been just another nash, stupid kids movie that everybody would have forgotten. But the fact is, Paddington 1, even Paddington 2, people love them. And again, I think that's down to just how they're done. And again, that's, I think, why most of us are worried is how they're going to do this is going to determine whether this is going to be a good or shit movie.
Why just make a CGI movie without using any human?
I know. I mean, that's the thing. I know at the end of the day,
it's not really basically
all that stuff.
It's not really. Everyone keeps bringing this argument up, and it actually is a good argument. It's like, why do we need human characters? Why do we need this hybrid movie? When clearly, since Unleashed, or hell, even since Shadow the Hedgehog, they've shown that they can do CGI so fucking well. And you have to point no further than the opening of Unleashed to say, yeah, they can make a movie.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's sort of the thing. If you can do it as again, I think with Unleashed, I mean, as you said, we could have easily just have a cinematic thing of just, why don't we just have it, just a story in their world, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything else, just their characters going on an adventure, which is what it should be. But again, it's that whole argument of, how many, you got to make this appeal to the largest domestic audience type nonsense. You always hear that thing.
Yeah, but like,
it's like even someone who's so absolutely stupid could go in and supposedly enjoy it at any given level.
Yeah, but the point is, when you actually do make movies based on intellectual properties, you like you said, you basically have to widen your scope to everything. But the problem with certain IP movies is that it's more difficult to actually make it, because not only do you have to appeal to the actual core demographic, which is the fans of this IP, be it Sonic, Power Rangers, Transformers, fucking Gemini, whatever.
But the Gem was a total train wreck anyway. I mean, that's I mean, the fact that
you also have to say, okay, how will you get new people in here? Having a human character, fair enough. Basically, the people who don't know Sonic or don't like Sonic, or have basically parents get their kids dragged to it, like with the Pokemon movie.
Oh, the Pokemon movie. I mean, compared to that was just literally, this is just, if you know Pokemon and love it, this will work for you. Although surprisingly, even as a kid, I didn't like the first movie. But even then, for parents, it's like, what is this madhouse I'm watching? What does this mean? What is that creature? Who's this?
I do remember kids watching it and parents falling asleep.
Yeah, exactly. So, so again, there's two ways of looking at it. I mean, at the end of the day, I do know why they're doing live action, because if you think about it, to do it as a full CG fantastic bonanza. I mean, obviously, it will cost a lot of money, so doing it in live action, and particularly with the budget we've heard, I mean, it's still big enough. I mean, it's probably about...
A lot of people say, 90 minutes, a lot for a movie of this. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, really, especially for a big effects-driven movie. You compare this to, say, the Marvel films. I mean, God Almighty, they have, God knows how much money they rake in just to illuminate the budget.
They get like 120 to 200 million budget. And they can rake in at least double that.
Yeah. Like you said, it's depending on how you do it. I mean, you look at, for instance, Deadpool. I mean, everybody's saying, well, Tim Miller's involved in it. Deadpool famously wasn't a very expensive movie. In fact, I think Fox took more out of it than what was in the film.
Yeah, they were going to have a big budget, and I think they reduced it down to 70, 60 million. It wasn't a big budget. It's like, but even then, they made fun of it. It's like, especially when he refers to, it's amazing how you two are always the only ones right here. It's like, I don't know, the studio just cut the budget or something.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact is, the more like Fox took away from them, it's like, no, we can use this to our advantage. I mean, that worked for Deadpool. The way it's going to work for this movie, again, being this is going to be cooperation between Paramount and Sega's own animation department. Again, who knows? And at the end of the day, I said it's all down to how it's going to be done. The setting is probably, the more I heard about it, it sounds more like Sonic X territory, where it's basically somebody discovers him and discover who he is, what he's like, and then goes along with the adventure. That is probably what this movie is going to be. But if it's told well, if it's done right, it can work. I'm not saying that's a guarantee. Nothing's ever a bloody guarantee. But again, it's this whole idea of we don't know. And the fact is funny enough, with Sonic the Hedgehog, there is actually a lot more you can play with Sonic's world and characters and whatever mythos, if there is such a thing in the series anymore.
The movieverse.
Yeah, whatever. But it's funny when you compare that to, say, Mario. As I said, we don't know a thing about the Mario movie, but they're going to have to make up a lot of stuff just to make this make basic sense, because Mario's world is just fantasy, not in a Lord of the Rings type. It's this very kid-friendly, cartoony world they live in.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that we mentioned fantasy to this. Oh, you mean like elves and Lord of the Rings? Like,
Yeah,
fantasy basically means anything the mind can imagine. That's what the fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, not everything is J.R. Tolkien. Just because that was the most successful thing, not everything has to be like that.
When people say sexual fantasy, doesn't mean they're actually with elves.
Yeah, but there was a lot. I think actually MovieBot did even his idea of what you could do for a Mario movie in live action. Right, he did a rebuttal video talking about the fact there is going to be an animated movie, which is the safe bet, because obviously you don't want to do a train wreck like they did. But again, it's like the world of Mario in that content, you're going to have to really try to make that seem workable in a weird way. So Mario, everybody knows Mario, but to make it work, particularly for a movie, and even for a character, because let's be fair, Sonic has a character. You may not like him. That's the one thing, is you said juvenile delinquent, but he has a personality you can work off and you can use. Mario doesn't, unfortunately. He has some bits of it, but he is meant to be a blank slate.
Yeah.
So again, I may coming off as like I'm more optimistic, but again, if this doesn't end up being good, if this is just another, whatever, failed attempt to try and make a video game movie work, whatever. I kind of feel like my worst case scenario is that we use this as another excuse to say why this series is no good, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, I don't think it will. I mean, at its very worst, it'll just be a movie that people will remember and then throw it in the bin. I mean, put it this way. Has the Power Rangers movie destroyed Power Rangers as an entire franchise?
It destroyed the possibility of actual good Power Rangers movies.
Yeah, but it's not exactly like they're not stopped in Japan. It's not like we're going to stop making these type of things because that other live action film that came out recently didn't work.
No, because they're two completely different entities.
Exactly.
But with Sonic, it's a completely different mediums, and that's the tipping point. But like you said, if your speculation of what the actual Sonic character would be like, especially with interaction with the human Tom, and whatever girlfriend he has, because you're going to have a romance scene in fucking movies these days. Just put a hopeful romanticness out there, which apparently is a Hollywood fucking checklist.
Yeah, they've been doing that for years.
But right now, if I was the Sonic movie, I'm being pessimistic about it because I don't think it's going to be that good. Like, I would give it a chance. I would probably pay movie money for it, but I didn't pay any movie money for Power Rangers, and I'm glad I fucking didn't.
No, but then again, you were going into thinking this isn't going to work.
No, because everything about it was shouting at me wrong. I like a few of the ideas they had, but at the same time, it's like those are small pennies compared to what the fucking everything else.
Just as a single,
I had an analogy there, but I completely fucked it up. The Power Rangers movie is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But the Sonic movie itself, I don't think it's going to be great. It's going to be too safe. It's going to try to appeal to too many people at once. And I don't know, the ideas they have behind it right now do not ring well with me. So to look forward to that next year, because filming hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, well, it's just starting. They're just planning to get a bunch of trucks. So if anything, they'll probably have an entire segment where he's running through and jumping over trucks or whatever. So you could say, well, there's one good bit, even if the rest of it doesn't work.
Yeah, as long as the Sonic CGI looks pretty fucking decent, don't do what the fan movie did and make him realistically.
No, I do think that's the weird thing, is that's the only standard we've got actually to really beat, because that's the first time anybody's did this, and that was just one guy trying to do it best he can as a one-off, whereas this is like, all right, now you've just got to do the big shalada.
Yeah. Well, Miles less about Sonic and more about, hey, how many YouTubers can we get in this one film? There's the Nerd, Brandon Floss, Stuttering Craig.
No, I mean, the irony of that whole movie is basically only Doug Walker, this was just it's kind of a weird angle because people love him, they hate him, they're loving him again, and now he's hated again for other reasons. But he was the only one who actually turned up on set for that movie. Everybody else just said, "Can I be in it?" Well, I don't know. I guess if you can film your cameo, you can.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the irony for you. You know, the one person who bothered to come up and actually do the movie wasn't a Sonic fan and was pretty much being berated by everybody at the time.
I'm not too sure if he is a non-fan either.
No, I mean he likes Saturday M. That's the one thing he's admitted. He likes Saturday M at the TV show. So
the movie's gonna suck either way.
Well, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be as helpful as I can. I'm not putting my fucking hopes on this. I mean, first of all, if it doesn't work, fine. I'm not going to sit home and cry about it and then whine about it on the internet like so many other people do.
Place your best. £20 on good. It flops. Damn it.
At the end of the day, it's like, look, if it works, good. If it's entertaining, fine. If it's a train wreck, then it's like, well, you know, there's all the other stuff I can go back and play, watch and read. So
yeah, nothing's really stopping you from everything else. Although I guarantee you the naysayers will say, well, the movie sucks, so therefore Sonic sucks. The Mario movie sucks. That means the Mario's games suck. No, it doesn't. Well, that's your analogy.
You know, but the weird thing with the Mario movie, it's now got the Mario movie, the Super Mario movie, as it's known as. That's now got a bit of a cult now of thing that they enjoy, even though it's completely off its head.
I still enjoyed it, even though it was even then. I rented that movie several times.
Mm-hmm. Even then, it's like
when VHS rentals was actually a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing, you know, because we're all fuddy duzzies.
Yes, VHS rentals. What's that? Is that like Redbox? Kind of.
It depends. Well, when you rent something, you're meant to give it back afterwards, not run off and nick with it.
Oh, the amount of times when I was working at Game Traders, I was on like 3 different game discs with Redbox on it. I was like, congratulations, you traded in a game for like $3 and you stole it.
Oh god. But either way, it's like, actually put it this way, what we know about the Sonic movie, if you compare this to what has been recently shown, and I think it was a Polygon? I'm trying to remember. I know I had a little link here. But not at Kotaku, that was it. I said that right. But apparently, comparing this to what was then the planned Sonic movie with MGM, I will say that compared to what we're having now, that seems more plausible than what the hell they were trying with that movie.
Just don't do what they originally tried to do with TMNT, okay? That's all I can say.
Yeah,
they're gonna be aliens! No, fuck, no, fuck, no, fuck.
You can have an alien joke in it, but then maybe you could just have someone go like, that'd be stupid. I mean, there we go. That's a good juvenile humor for you. It's basically juvenile delinquent. Just someone's accusing him of being an alien and thinking, seriously, look at me.
It's like, well, according to me, you're the aliens.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Think about that. We think everything as aliens, but you didn't ever think about the aliens that think we're the aliens?
Looking alien to them. So there you go. There's a gag. If anybody's on the movie production, you have a free gag to use. Use it. It'll save you, if anything.
Yeah.